right, shalom, shalom. All right, before we do anything, of course, we want to give all praises unto our power.
Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem, Rakam
All right, excuse me, Salakia. Yahweh is the Heavenly Father's name. All right, Yahweh Shai is his son's name. Those are the powers that are going to deliver the elect to Israel, only the elect to Israel. All right, peace and blessings unto you all. To the elect to tune in and then sincere, hopeful elect to get edified and built up into the spirit through these virtual letters that we do. And double honors to our elders and apostles of Israel in these times, known as Great Millstone. All right, in the English. In the Hebrew, that would be Gawala Wakab. All right, so Shani Kabbalah come. Double honors to you all. All right, we're going to just go into this topic of the name in World War III, because everything is centered around the name. The persecution we're going to go through, the salvation that we're going to receive, all right, trotting down our enemies, all right, this is all centered around the name. So we're going to bring out some precepts concerning the name, hit some different aspects on it. Brothers, we're just going to double dutch, get in where you fit in. And then also we're going to talk about World War III, what's going on with Iran. You know, that can't be omitted, which that also has to deal with the name, because the Lord said when he finally wanted to put, we can get that too, when Solomon established the temple. Where the Lord, he said when he finally wanted to place his name on earth, he wanted to place it in Zion. All right, and war is going to break out over in that land, in our land, to Zion. It's because of the name. All right, so let's start in Kings.
Okay, come.
Let's get that in Kings. I'm gonna look for that other one that I just spoke about. Brothers, any precepts while I was speaking? Let's kick it off.
This is First Kings, chapter 10 and 1. It says, and when the queen of Sheba heard of the fame of Solomon concerning the name of the Lord Yahweh, she came to prove him with hard questions. It says, and she came to Jerusalem with a very great train of camels that bear spices and very much gold and precious stones. And when she was come to Solomon and commune with him of all that was in her heart, it says, and Solomon told her all her questions. There was not anything hid from the king which he told her not. And when the queen of Sheba has seen all Solomon's wisdom.
The point was in verse 1. Read verse 1 again.
This is First Kings 10 and 1. It says, and when the queen of Sheba heard the fame of Solomon concerning the name of the Lord.
See, there's the point right there. So when she heard the fame of Solomon, and directly after that, talking about the fame of Solomon, the wisest man that ever lived, the very next thing was concerning the name of the Lord. Why? Because everything Solomon got, it was through the name of the Lord, through the faith in that name. Back then, they were calling on Yahweh, which that is to be debated today in these times too. All right, because a lot of people say Jehovah Nisi, Jehovah Jireh, or they call him Jah, or things of that nature. You know, that's the Queen of Sheba wasn't coming to find out about those names. She was coming to find out about Yahweh, because when you continue reading, as the brother kept on reading, it's gonna go into about his house. You know, how his servants were dressed and all that. All of that was done through that name of Yahweh, and in these times by Hashem Yahweh Shai. So if you could read verse 1 again.
This is First Kings 10:1. It says, and when the queen of Sheba heard of the fame of Solomon concerning the name of Yahweh, she came to prove him with hard questions.
And she proved him with hard questions. You know, and mainly it was about the name. You know, how does the name do this for you? In this type of scenario, how does the name do this for you? You know, questions like that. You know, when you were in this battle, or when your forefathers were in this battle, how did they say the name? Did everybody say it all together? Or, you know, she was asking, investigating, interrogating basically through the spirit. You know, now she traveled all the way from Ethiopia, and she had all these gifts. So it shows you the importance of the name. You just can't say God or whatever you want. All right, it's got to be put to the test. Yes or not?
Because at that time the Lord's name was great in the earth, man. You know, and amongst the heathens as well. And it's going to get like that again. This is Malachi 1 verse 11. It says, for from the rising of the sun even unto the going down of the same, My name shall be great among the Gentiles, and in every place incense shall be offered unto my name, and a pure offering for my name shall be great among the heathens, saith Yahweh of hosts. So, hey, the Lord's name is going to be great amongst the heathens. And I believe it's in Ezekiel. It says when he take us from amongst the heathens, that's when it's going to be great again, man. You know, and that's why we're talking about going into World War III, and as Quan said, it all centers around the name, man. You know, because the Lord's doing this for his great name's sake. All right? Just like he did in Egypt. He did all that for his name's sake.
I got a precept for you. This is Jeremiah, because it's going into deliverance and how the Lord, basically his name is going to be, basically refreshed. It says, this is Jeremiah, what is that, 16 and 14. It says, therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that it shall no more be said, the Lord Yahweh liveth, that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But the Lord Yahweh liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, and from all the lands whither he had driven them, and I will bring them again into their land, says that I gave unto their fathers.
Yeah, that's the big build-up.
That's
the build-up, And that's why the Most High is hiding himself. He's hiding his names through men like us.
That's right.
The ones the least expected.
That's right. That land of the north is speaking about North America, man, which is Babylon today.
I had a precept because you were talking about how King Solomon, he had fame, but it wasn't through him; it was through the Spirit. And this is the same example with Peter and John in the book of Acts. This is Acts 3:11. It says, "And as the lame man which was healed, Salakia, and as the lame man which was healed, held Peter and John, all the people ran together unto them in the porch that was called Solomon's Great Wonder. And when Peter saw it, he answered unto the people, Ye men of Israel, why marvel ye at this? Or why look ye so earnestly on us, as though by our own power or holiness we had made this man walk? The God of Abraham and Isaac and Jacob, the God of our fathers, have glorified his son Yahweh Shai, who ye delivered up and denied him in the presence of Pilate when he was determined to let him go. And that's the power. The power is not within us. The glory is not within us. It's in the power of Yahweh Hashem Shai. It's in the name, man.
You start the top with that, or
No. Go to let me see. Go to read that Proverbs 18 and 10 real quick. I'm gonna find this precept in John 9.
this is the book of Proverbs, chapter 18, and verse 10. It says, "The name of the Lord Yahweh is a strong tower; the righteous runneth into it and is safe." Amen. And that's evident, man. Through our testimony of our deliverance, through the Lord, man, through times past and today. The name of the Lord is like that fortified city, man, that nobody's gonna be able to overtake. So we safe.
I got something. Just going along with that in salvation. The brother said that the Lord revealed his name unto the meek, man. And it's gonna be a strong tower in that day. So this is Psalms 91 verse 14. It says, "Because he hath set his love upon me, therefore will I deliver him. I will set him on high, because he hath known my name. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him." And that's what's gonna happen. That's how you know that we're gonna have the name in our captivity. Because hey, in the kingdom we're not gonna be in trouble. We're gonna call upon his name when we're in trouble, and he's gonna deliver us, man. And it says what? Because we set our love upon him, he's gonna do these things.
Good. Yeah, this is Sirach 2 and 10. It says, "Look at the generations of old and see, did ever any trust in Yahweh and was confounded? Or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken? Or whom did he ever despise that called upon him?" And those are all rhetorical questions, backing up that if you got the name and you truly believe, you're going to be protected.
and even some guys that do have the name, but they believe on the wrong things while using that name, they don't get protected. Like you had the guy got pulled over by the cops. He was saying Yahweh Shai, please Yahweh Shai the whole time, but they was still messing with him. You know? So even in having the right name, knowing the right pronunciation, saying it as many times, if you don't have the 100% doctrine behind that name, that wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that comes with it, it's not going to protect you. It's not going to, when you call upon it, it's not going to deliver you.
Yeah, because in the Sirach, the 6th chapter, it talks about being like a prisoner of wisdom. You know, you want to hold on to wisdom, hold it tightly. Something like wisdom, an example is said, agree with that adversary quickly. You're supposed to obtain wisdom and use it when you're in this distress, when you're in a problem. Yahweh Shem Shai not just gonna save you if you just on your own thing,
right.
and then when you get in trouble, you want to call on him. Now you gotta hold on to wisdom. You know.
This is Sirach chapter 51, verse 11. I'll praise thy name continually, and will sing praise with thanksgiving, and so my prayer was heard. For thou savest me from destruction, and deliverest me from the evil time. Therefore I give thanks and praise thee, and bless thy name, O Yahweh Bashem Yahushai.
Yep, and there's many instances where we have been in predicaments. That's why we speak so strongly on the name, because it literally has done things for us, man. You know, it's literally brought us from a low estate to a higher estate, you know.
Got something real quick. This is Psalms 145 and verse 18. It says, Yahweh is nigh unto all them that call upon him, to all that call upon him in truth. So that goes to the point where dude was calling his name, you know, but you wasn't calling it in truth, man. Because if you was doing it in truth, you would have learned that wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that the brother Ganal was just talking about. You would understand, they agree with the adversary quickly, man. You know, instead of just, yeah, I got the Lord on my side. So what you was doing right there is tempting the Lord. You fell right into the hands of the damn whipping stick of the Lord, man. You know, you gotta call upon him in truth.
Yeah, that's why when people ask you, if you're still learning, if people ask you if you still believe in Jesus or Christ, you can tell them no, because that's not truth. You know, when they, I mean, you know what they mean, but you have to say that so you can correct them. You know, because if you don't correct them, they still gonna be in their ways with their belief. You have to break. See, the name of Yahweh Shai has to break down everything else. You know, it has to break down because there's a whole lot of lies out there. You know, he's our sacrifice. You know, if you're calling on another name or anything, you're presenting a wicked sacrifice. You know, bring out what you had.
This is Philippians chapter 2, verse 9. Wherefore the Most High also have highly exalted him, and given him a name which is above every name, that the name of Yahweh Shai every knee should bow.
Right, and we're gonna find out very soon, man. Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Shai, all these nations are gonna bow down to the name of Yahweh Shai. All right, and they're gonna bow down to the men. All right, because they're gonna see that power that's bestowed upon us. All right, the Apostle Gabarge did a beautiful video about the dude Steven Anderson and K-Dub. All right, and when he was speaking about that sacrifice, speaking about those names, all right, the importance of knowing it, all right, because when you say Jesus, we don't know who you're talking about. That's just like saying, God bless America. What God?
Yeah, it comes with a certain doctrine. Like, you know, it comes with a certain doctrine, a certain teaching. As in, like, even when you go, like, say if you want to Google, you know, Jesus, right? Who would you get? You would get Cesare. If you actually Google image Yahweh Shai, who you gonna get? You gonna get a more biblical, accurate, you know, version. You know, when you go into Revelations, the first chapter, you know, you get a better, you know, not a better, but you know, a more not credible, but a better image, you know, of them. You know, closer to the scriptures. You know, which is, you know, that's madness, man. You think you could come with that, you know, that Jesus shit, man? That shit. Hey, look, what has that brought us up into 2019, man? It ain't brought us shit, man. You know, it's kept the bulk of our people in bondage, man. And more importantly, spiritual bondage, mental bondage, man. You know, you still got that stronghold, and that's what we set up to do, to cast all that shit down, man. You know, go ahead, bro.
This is Proverbs 30:4. It says, "Whoever ascended up into heaven or descended, who have gathered the winds in his fist, who who hath bound the waters in his garment, who hath established all the ends of the earth. What is his name? And what is his son's name that thou canst tell?
Oh, you think about that, you listen to that precept, and it's like, okay, we can clearly go through these scriptures. You clearly go through the New Testament and see Jesus all throughout this book. So why is that still placed in there, man?
Right. And it's like, who's done all of these things?
Hey,
Like,
come on.
yo, you gotta sit back and ask yourself, like, you believe in God, you believe in who you say is Jesus. Alright, but why is the scripture saying, what is their name?
God.
You know, if thou canst tell.
That's right.
And that shows it's not for everybody.
Yeah. You can get that out. You guys get a precept?
Oh, nah.
Come on, go ahead, Rob.
This is Ezekiel chapter 39, verse.
And after you read 6 to 7, jump to verse 23.
It's Ezekiel chapter 39, verse 6. And I'll send a fire on Magog, and among them that dwell carelessly in the isles, and they shall know that I am Yahweh.
Right, so that is, see, it says, then they shall know that I am Yahweh. I mean, they're going to know that he's the Lord. That's his name, you know. When are they going to know? When World War III pops off.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when the chariots are everywhere. The video, the lady put out the video where she showed the negative. Seen that video with the chariots?
Yeah, with the
Chariots are already here, and it was flooded.
Yeah.
It just looked like a polka dots
Yeah,
everywhere, you know.
rainbow colors.
Yeah, this is all going on right now because the Lord is getting ready to send a fire upon Gog and Magog, which we know is Russia. They think, yes, Russia's going to destroy America with all these other countries, but guess what? Parts of Russia are going to be destroyed too. Fire is going to be brought down upon them, according to Ezekiel. Can you read that again?
This is Ezekiel 39, verse 6. And I will send a fire on Magog, and among them that dwell carelessly in the isles, and they shall know that I am Yahweh.
Right, next verse.
So will I make my holy name known in the midst of my people Israel. I will not let them pollute my holy name anymore.
Yeah, you can read that one more that verse again.
This is Ezekiel 39 and 7. It says, so will I make my holy name known in the midst of my people.
And how's he making his name known? Through the men of the Lord. The true men of the Lord. We are the only ones. Before we start, we say we give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Kakudash. You don't see these other Israelites doing that. You know, they play this dramatic music, you know. And then they show an image of their leader, you know, in the world. We start our videos, there's no music. You don't see a fucking carousel of the apostles going by.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're
And that's,
saying great millstone.
that's why if you look at it, the characteristics of the men of the Lord, the scriptures, the men of GMS carried those same characteristics. Like when Peter and John, they could have easily been like, yeah, that was us. We helped the lame man walk. But it's like, nah, man, why y'all looking at us? Man, this is the power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. They ain't got nothing to do with us. You know, they deflecting the fame. You see all these other camps. I ain't gonna name names. But all these other camps, they want the fame for themselves. You know, they like the attention that it brings. You know.
It says,
You can read that verse one more time.
this is Ezekiel 39 and 7. So will I make my holy name known in the midst of my people Israel. And I will not let them pollute my holy name anymore.
Right, he's not letting them pollute it because get Isaiah 58 and 1. We're setting the standard, man. All right. The Lord's doing a clean sweep of wickedness, confusion in these times. By way of the men of the Lord, bringing out the truth. You got it. Read it out.
This is Isaiah 58 and 1. It says, cry aloud, spare not.
That's us. That's part of our job description, man. That's one of the bullet points under our job description is to cry loud and spare not. Go ahead.
Lift up thy voice like a trumpet and show my people their transgressions and the house of Jacob their sins.
Right, now come you get Exodus 23 and 2. Right, and one of their sins is believing the hype. You know, here it is. The majority of our people, they got brought over here on, their ancestors got brought over here on ships called the Good Ship Jesus. And they got that image beaten to their head. They were learning the same thing in slavery. I always say this, when our people, all right, were, because we were still speaking broken forms of Hebrew in West Africa, when they put that English on us, all right, over here in the so-called states, and they told us that we could have some form of religion, all right, or get together, which was supervised, by the way,
Yeah, come,
until Jake got it down pat.
come.
They and then you had house niggas in sleeper cells too, just to report back
Good turn, come.
during the service and shit. The main thing that was being preached in those churches when they finally let you start doing it was that God was white. One day everything will get better, and love your masters, obey your masters. Those were the only things. So that's being beaten to our people's head over and over and over again. Now they have no idea. They have no idea about their former language or what the name was. Now that the only thing they know is I'm gonna die if I don't believe in what's being said
Right.
by somebody that looks like me, you know.
Yeah, and Jake, they deflect all the clues. Like when Birth of Nation came out, nobody wanted to go watch. The dude, the main character, never even got a hit show or a hit role again since that. Like, why is that? Because he was telling you the truth, and Jake don't want to hear it. You know?
Well, they just brought out the facts. Well, the slave Bible, man. Like
Yeah.
that it's sitting in a museum. I think it's in the Bible
Yeah,
museum.
yeah.
It shows you what scriptures they took out and what they left in there.
Yeah.
All for them to basically control the narrative and just completely slaughter Jake, man, and
Yeah.
get away with it, man.
Yeah, Jake is so sottish that they actually like pretty much boycotted a Birth of a Nation.
And we're gonna see some Adidas shit.
They
Yeah,
did boycott it.
that shit
Yeah.
came
Yeah.
out right down. Remember that shit?
Came out at the same time.
Yeah.
We Exodus
He said 23 and
2.
23 and 2.
Yeah.
Come on, this is Exodus chapter 23 and verse 2. It says, "Thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil."
Right, and the multitude is calling on Jesus. That's not the name. Everybody is using, or they'll say Yeshua. Even the multitude is saying Yeshua or Yehoshua. You know, these are like these other names that shouldn't be named, man. You know, Allah. You know, or whatever other names that Jake be using, and they use the names all willy nilly. You know, you be around your parents and people of the world, even people at work. Jesus fucking Christ.
Yep.
That's what these Edomites be saying.
I mean, it's
and
all
if that's supposed to be the name, how is that allowed? You have to ask yourself, how the hell is this allowed? If this is the name, how? That's why when we say fuck Jesus and things like that, I don't know who you talking about. People get upset.
Yeah.
You know, but then this is the same person who's gonna turn around and use this name.
Jesus fucking Christ.
You know, if the team don't, if they team don't score a point,
Yeah.
they team lose.
Yeah, directors actually write that shit into
Yeah.
scripts. Like you be watching a movie, Jesus fucking Christ, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
shit like that. So it's like you profaning that.
They can't be the name.
Fuck
So
out.
that's why, if you could read that again.
Is Exodus 23 and verse 2. It says, "Thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil, neither shalt thou speak in a cause to decline after many, to wrest judgment."
Right, which means basically if everybody else is saying something, you know the truth. Just because you're the only one in there that knows the truth, don't mean you agree with everybody, so you don't get your ass beat or some shit.
Yeah, the scripture
Oh,
say
oh,
strike
oh.
us like
Can you get that in where I think it's Acts the 3rd chapter, where they were happy to receive stripes for the name of Yahweh Shai? What were you saying? Not go
Nah,
ahead.
just one of the scripture says striving for the truth until death, man. You know, so hey, and we supposed to be out here fighting for the name of the Lord, man. Which you see the start with our apostles and elders, man. They've been out here for decades doing it, you know, and follow suit with the the men under them doing it, man. You know, and unto death, man. You know, we know what's coming. You know, ultimately they gonna want us to denounce it. You know, they got such a problem with it. But that's when we calling on that name, man. Hey, listen, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai is making it happen, man. You know, these prophecies are coming to pass.
Yeah, because you see that they went through lengths to cover the name.
Yeah, hell
They
yeah,
went through
man.
lengths. They put Jesus, Yehoshua, all
Yeah.
that. They put layers, you know, to hide the true name.
Yep.
So now that it's actually coming out, what you think they're gonna do to the men that actually brought it out?
Went from
You know?
the paleo to the Syrian, you know, all of that, man. It's like to try to, hide it from us.
Go ahead and read that out.
It says Acts 5 verse 40. It says, "And to him they agreed, and when they had called the apostles and beaten them, they commanded that they should not speak in the name of Yahweh Shai and let them go."
Right, so these people out here, they not when you say those names and stuff like that, they're not the they use so loosely. That's how you know they don't believe on him, because if it came down to it, and you ask them, look, are you ready to get beat up for this name? You know, are you ready to take a bullet in your head for this? Of course not. As soon as they tell them, look, if you believe on Allah, will give you your ration, they gonna say that shit. You know, because that's what's gonna happen. There's gonna be a point in time, a defining moment coming up for a lot of people out here, man. A lot of people gonna be put in situations to where your faith is gonna be put to the test. All right, and the core of our faith is what? In the name of Yahweh Shai, man. You keep going down there
That's
and
right.
ask.
Verse 41, it says, and they departed from the presence of the council, rejoicing that they were counted worthy to suffer shame for his name.
Right, you see that? And that they were ready to not shame for the works, you know, for keeping the laws, statutes, commandments, shame for his name. Just the name, because he was, remember, Yahweh Shai was the actual man walking around. He had a reputation, you know, everybody knew his family. So they literally were happy to get beat up just off the strength of his name. That's why David, manifold in his Psalms, he always says, for thy name's sake, such and such and such, such and such and such, to thy sake of thy name. Because the Lord said he swore by his name. Brother, you get that too. Go ahead, Doc.
Verse 42, it says, and daily in the temple and in every house they cease not to teach and preach Yahweh Shai and Mashiach.
And that's beautiful, because that's just, imagine you going to hear about this new doctrine, about this new man, all right, and you go to see the person that's presenting it, and they're still bruised up and got a lump on their eye, you know, but they're smiling and they're speaking boldly, you know. Imagine what that does to somebody. And they're telling you, look, we was just locked up the other couple of days and we got beat up, but look, we still stand here before you. That's the power, you know. That's what we're translating that energy now back into these times, man. That's why you're gonna have a lot of believers come in when they hear the name Yahweh Shai. You know, it'll stop you dead in your tracks if you're of the elect. You know, we've seen it happen. You have something up?
I'm looking
And
for
the
that.
scripture says there's nothing new under the sun. You know, so in that same account with Acts, they came in by the 3,000 and the 5,000. You know, so you see the great boldness of Peter and John. You're gonna see that. That's why the scriptures tell the men of the Lord to be faithful unto death. You know, because you're gonna go through some things, and through you going through something, that's how the majority is gonna wake up.
Go ahead, read yours first.
This is 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 12. It says, yea, and all that will live godly in our Mashiach Yahweh Shai shall suffer persecution. So that's what's going to happen. You know, you're going to be tried, you're going to be tested to see if you truly believe in the Lord, and the Lord's going to put you through a test. The world is they're going to try to kill you, you know, for believing in this truth, for believing in that name, you know.
Yeah, that's what our temptation is gonna be about, man. You know, that's when everybody who claim to believe this thing, you know, it's gonna be shown in that day. That's when that fire gonna hit and see if that your building still stand. Man. Is it going you gonna turn in that gold, you know? And if you were building your house right, and the winds and things happen, you know, once Scripture says the angel's gonna let back them four winds of the earth. When those winds happen, is your house gonna stand? Was it founded upon that rock? I got a quick scripture. Just an example of that. This is Daniel 3. Daniel 3 verse 10. It says, thou, O king, has made a decree that every man that shall hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music shall fall down and worship the golden image. And whoso falleth not down and worshipeth, that he should be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. There are certain Jews whom thou hast set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, have not regarded thee. They serve not thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. Then Nebuchadnezzar, in his rage and fury, commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Then they brought these men before the king. So that's what's going to happen, man. When they make that decree and you don't go along with it, you're going to have to choose. Do you really believe in the Lord? You know, and we talking about the name and everything that the name stands for. or you gonna was that belief not really true? You know, and then you gonna follow after these men when they threaten your life like that, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
You gotta just be ready to go for your Howard shot. Jeremiah 17.
Come.
You got a precept on? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, this is Jeremiah 17, verse 4. It says, "And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee."
Right, now go to Acts with Paul and Yahushua, what I was talking about, that interaction, because part of our heritage is our language.
Yeah, come.
All right, and a key important point to getting it back is understanding that language is the language of the heavens. You know, that is the language that is spoken, that came directly from Yahweh by Shema Shah. That's why it's called Ibaria, which means from the past.
Yeah, and I love that word. It says discontinue from your heritage. I believe it's Nechal, and I believe it's one of the definitions in there was heritage, and then when you look the word heritage up, it goes into like customs and like rituals and just everything who we were.
Yeah.
And then I believe to discontinue was Shemat, which means to loosen or to fall from. When I looked it up, and it was just heavy, man. It just made sense because it was this fucking Amalek. He was making a video basically stating that it's like this was just specifically talking about the land that you guys would discontinue from, but no, it was everything who we were, you know, including the name of our power. Yeah, you know.
Well, that's why the curses were set up. I mean, he breaks this down to our health.
Yeah,
you know, our land, our families. You know. You gonna say something about?
No, I was gonna say it said discontinue from our heritage. When you go into the scriptures, you actually do a word search for the word heritage. It covers the law, you know, and that's everything. How we conduct and everything. So that's what the Lord gave us, you know, as Israelites, and that's what that we've been disconnected from.
Get Joel. You get Joel 3 and. Yeah, go ahead.
This is 2 Maccabees 2 verse 50. It says, "Now therefore, my sons, be ye zealous for the law, and give your lives for the covenant of your fathers." You know, so when we fell away from that, it was no way we could be zealous for the law because it was taken away from us. Now we have that opportunity, and that's the spirit that we have to be in now. It's ready to give our lives for the law, and we're not willing to serve the powers of America. We're not going to serve the powers, the Rothschilds, or whatever's coming down the pipe, you know?
Yeah. Joel 3 and 2. Start at verse 1.
Okay.
Then we're going to go back to Ezekiel.
This is
Actually, I want to get that. Stay with Jeremiah, and then we're going to go to Acts. And then we'll go back to Ezekiel. Go ahead, Al.
This is Joel chapter 3 and verse 1. "For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah."
And that's what's going on right now. You see the morale of these Edomites is very, very low. Why? Because the morale of the elect is increasing. Our faith is increasing. Why? Because he's overturning our captivity. The Lord says it makes him happy. I think it's in Sirach, the 39th chapter. It makes him happy when a man lives to see the downfall of his enemies. You know, through the Spirit. And that's what's going on right now. He's overturning our captivity. Keep going.
It says, "When I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Yahweh Shaphat, and will plead with them there for my people."
Right, even the place where he's going to plead, where World War III is going to break out at, even in that place, his name is in it, which means Yahweh Shaphat means the Most High's judgment. You know, so he said he discontinued us from our heritage, so of course he's going to plead for us, man. That's why the whole adoption was in place, man. In the New Testament, where it talks about us being adopted back in, being grafted back in. Everything that's going on right now in the Middle East, these drones being shot down, planes being shot down by Iran, these rumors of war, is so that we can receive our land back. We can see our customs back in 100% righteousness. You know, because when you look up plead. That plead means to judge. Means shapat.
Come.
You know, through the Spirit. Now go to Acts with the encounter with Yahushua and Paul.
This is Acts chapter 26, verse 14.
And this is proving that the Lashon Kodash, or the Abaria, is the true language of the heavens. Go ahead.
It reads, "And when we were all fallen to the earth, I heard a voice speaking unto me, and saying in the Hebrew tongue, Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? It is hard for thee to kick against the pricks. And I said, Who art thou, Lord? And he said, I am Yahushua, whom thou persecutest."
Right. So when he looked up and when he heard the voice come from the heavens, all right. Read it one more time.
This is Acts chapter 26, verse 14. It says, "And when we were all fallen to the earth, I heard a voice speaking unto me, and saying in the Hebrew tongue, Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me?"
Right. So somebody's talking to Paul in Hebrew, not Aramaic. Because a lot of people say that the Lord was Aramaic.
Mm.
You know. Go ahead. If that was the case, how come the scriptures weren't translated from the Hebrew and Aramaic? You know. The predominant language back then was the Hebrew and Greek.
Right.
You know. Go ahead.
"It is hard for thee to kick against the pricks. And I said, Who art thou, Lord? And he said, I am Yahushua."
Right. So Yahushua was speaking to him in the Hebrew tongue. All right. If he's speaking to him in Hebrew, how could his name be Jesus? Right. It's not possible. That's and the Lord has, and there's two instances of that story in the scriptures. All right. And the reason why it's in there is so that we can know. All right, then what? That was our language. That this is part of our heritage and who we were. The Lord spoke to us and spoke to Moses in Hebrew. You know, he wasn't speaking to him in Syrian language or Japheth's language. He was speaking to him in our language, man.
Yeah, but they always had, because I was looking up, it's this, I believe it's the word called like a lingua franca. And it's basically like now, like how English, like you go around the world and the predominant, like everybody knows English, like, you know, for trade and for like, you know, for other things that you may need to do, you know, and then, but you still amongst like subcultures, like within each individual culture, they still have their own native tongue, you know, and it's same likewise to, you know, to us back then, you know, the Hebrews, like we were speaking Hebrew, you know, but they were other languages, and of course they were, you know, other people, but the Hebrews were speaking Hebrew.
Yeah.
Well, our Lord and Savior, you know, we use Hebrew, you know, so
Yeah.
cuts that shit, man, like,
God.
the fuck?
The Quran said that when it said in the Hebrew tongue, it said that so that we would know. And the scriptures say, man, that if it's the inspired word of the Most High, man, because every word in there, the scriptures say that the things that was written aforetime was written for our learning. If they could write down every single thing, it wouldn't have been enough to write in the book. So that's how you know that every word that's in here is perfectly strategically put in there. You know, we talking about the creator of the universe, man.
Yeah.
You know, so that's how you know through the Spirit what the Zaquan said is true. It's in there for a reason. So let us know that that's the language, man.
Right.
There's no debate.
And it's in there twice.
Mm-hmm.
And through the Spirit, the number 2 represents knowledge. You know, which means to know. So you should know.
Yeah.
All right. That this is what? This is the Lord bringing giving our heritage back to us. So if you could go back to Ezekiel 39 and pick up and read verse 7 again.
This is Ezekiel 39:7. "So will I make my holy name known in the midst of my people Israel, and I will not let them pollute my holy name anymore. And the heathen shall know that I am Yahweh, the Holy One in Israel."
Now jump to verse 23.
Verse 23, it says, "And the heathen shall know that the house of Israel went into captivity for their iniquity, because they trespassed against me. Therefore hid I my face from them, and gave them into the hand of their enemies."
Right.
So,
How did he hide his face? Well, he took the name. He took the name. When we didn't have the name, we lost battles. Remember? I think that's in Judith.
I got it.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, grab that.
But the one in Proverbs says the name of the Lord is a strong tower, and if we ain't got it, we're not being defended.
Yeah, you out in the
know?
open.
Yeah, we out in the open, man.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that's
Go ahead, Al.
This is Jude 5:17. It says, and while as they sent not before their power, they prospered, because the power that have hated iniquity was with them. But when they departed from the way which he appointed them, they were destroyed in many battles very sore.
And that's what's going on. The Lord has removed his name off of the majority of our people. That's why they're getting destroyed in these battles out here in America. You know, our people know that we are at war with the Edomites, you know, and these other nations.
Yeah.
They're losing heavy. And ultimately, they're going to lose when these missiles drop. Because when World War III breaks out, all right, if you don't have that name, if you don't have that faith coat with your works, with that perfect doctrine and sealed in your mind, it's a wrap, man.
Mhm.
I'm going to say something
I
about
would say our enemies know that that's a true fact, because that's why in Psalms 83rd chapter it says that they consulted with one consent to make the name of Israel no more of remembrance. So along with Israel and our heritage is the name of the Lord. And if that's not the case, then why are they trying so hard to change the names? You know, why even they got a Hebrew language now, but that's not the real Hebrew. Why they got every other name except for the true names, man? You know, it's because those names got power in it. You know, they say that the name Jesus Christ got power in it. How much more so the actual true name?
Right,
You know,
right. Hell yeah, bro.
Yeah, another clear example is how they clearly promote the iniquity so that our power don't deal with it. You know, that's why they push that homosexuality on our people. You know, it's bacon literally and everything. You know what I mean? Like they just want us to go off so our power don't, be with us.
That's why it says the accuser of our brethren is cast down. You know, it's going to be a blessing when the Lord comes back.
Yeah. Read, somebody get Baruch 4. Actually, it's right here. Let me read this precept. The brother on the comment board put it. Read that first. I'm going to read this precept.
This is Ezekiel 39 and 23. It says, and the heathen shall know that the house of Israel went into captivity for their iniquity, because they trespassed against me. Therefore hid I my face from them.
Right. Verses Baruch 4 and 6. Ye were sold to the nations not for your destruction, but because you moved the Most High to wrath, you were delivered unto the enemies. And that's about to happen again. Not only are you delivered to the hand of the enemies, but you about to get delivered unto the destruction. You know?
remember the scripture said if they would all face the east, call upon my name and pray to me, he would deliver me.
Yeah.
That's why in the slavery, they had to beat that out of us so that we couldn't call. The Lord made it to the point where we couldn't call on his name and be delivered, man.
Yeah, and you're not going to get all of Israel in the States to face the east. That's not going to happen. The Lord won't allow it to happen. You know, because that's just not how prophecy is written. You know? Although that would be amazing.
Yeah.
You know? That would be amazing to see all Israel to stop. You know? All business would stop. Everything would come to a screeching halt.
Esau
face
tried
the
to put
east.
you in slavery.
Esau would drop nukes.
That's our only hope is to drop nukes.
He would like hit that heart button, you know?
Yeah.
Let off that pocket nukes, spray the chemtrails over these niggas. Face the east. Stop that. But you know what? That's why the Lord, he has things set up a certain way, where he only wants his remnant to receive it. You know?
Mm-hmm.
The remnant's gonna be protected from World War III. The remnant's gonna retain the name and understand that that's our way of deliverance.
That's right. Yeah, because if he wanted everybody to get it, he'd have gave it to somebody like Jay-Z
Yeah.
and be like, hey, everybody, this is the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Face the east, but now he gave it to us. That's why the scriptures say when a rich man speak, everybody give an ear. When a poor man speak, ain't nobody got, roughly paraphrased, ain't nobody listening. That's why he gave us the truth. That's not what the apostles and elders went down, because ain't nobody gonna listen.
Right.
The scripture says, "What fellow is thee?"
Yeah, exactly.
Like who are you?
Yeah, you're not gonna convince. Even if you were all together, all Israel in one place, if you were to give them the name, 2/3 of Israel wouldn't believe. And when you pray, you're not supposed to pray without wavering. You're supposed to have 100% belief.
Yeah.
And then the scripture says the Lord's not gonna, if you if you turn your ear from hearing the laws of the Heavenly Father, your prayer, even your prayers are an abomination.
Mhm.
You know, keep going on Ezekiel.
Ezekiel 39, we'll read the end of 23. It says, because they trespass against me, therefore hid I my face from them, and gave them into the hand of their enemies. So fell they all by the sword.
Mm-hmm.
According to their uncleanness and according to their transgressions have I done unto them, and hid my face from them.
Yeah, everything that's going on with our people, as far as injustice-wise, is because of what we did in the past as a nation. The Lord is bringing all that judgment into fruition right now. Go ahead.
It says, verse 25, it says, therefore thus saith the Lord power, now will I bring again the captivity of Jacob, and have mercy upon the whole house of Israel.
Right, and the only way for that to happen is for World War III to break out. That's the only way, because Yahweh Shah has to show up to be the victor in World War III.
Mhm.
That's the thing that people don't understand. America's going to get destroyed, but Yahweh Shah's kingdom is directly after that.
That's right.
You know, America's lifespan, all right, is not very long, and as soon as it's over, it's a wrap. Yahweh Shah is going to show up.
That's right. Can I get a quick precept?
Come on.
Because in Joel, the 3rd chapter, he's speaking about the pleading, how he's going to plead with this place. It's Jeremiah chapter, chapter 66 and 16. It says, for by fire and by his sword will the Lord Yahweh plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many. So that's just backing up, what Zaquan said, man. The Lord is, he doesn't have it with this place, man.
Yeah.
His servants are coming back. The elect are being sealed.
Yeah.
We calling on his name. We doing with the book. What we're reading is happening right now, right in our faces, man. We're living it. You got a book?
Yeah, kind of, yeah. It's somewhere, man.
It says, and will be jealous for my holy name. It says, after that they have borne their shame and all their trespasses whereby they have trespassed against me, and when they dwelt safely in their land, and none made them afraid.
Yeah, you said.
Come to a quick point real quick.
Yeah.
It said, I was jealous over his name. We also know that Zephaniah 3, it says that the Lord is going to devour the earth with the fire of his jealousy. So that's World War III.
Hey, I want to read the comment, the brother Kahan Allah from GMS Hawaii. Hey, Shalom,
Shalom.
This says, also mentions in the preface, I believe, of Ecclesiasticus, which your belief is right, that the words uttered in the languages besides the Hebrew have not the same power than the same strength. How much more the names, and the name. That's a very important point, man. When you start to identify yourself as a Hebrew Israelite, because now you know who you are. Because you have a lot of Israelites, they don't identify as being a Hebrew Israelite, although they are. But when you do, you're supposed to cling to that part of your heritage, your language. Because you got this guy like Nate, they don't even use the name no more. There was a guy who used to be in this camp. His name was Sabarba. He does videos. Or the last video he did was like 8 months ago, but he opens it all up with Yehoshua. He's not. The Lord took the name, and he knew a lot of precepts. He probably still knows a lot of the breakdowns and stuff like that. But the Lord took that name from him. That's why he don't make videos. That's why he don't go out in the highways and byways. Hey, and we'll see what happens when World War III breaks out. Who knows? The Lord may give him the name at the last minute, but the way it looks, it don't look like he is, because it's going way left. Along with all these other guys, man, like Pastor Steven Anderson, K. Dub, all right, calling on all these different names, talking about Jesus. And then you got the Hotep Jakes and the Allah Jakes. That's why the Lord's he's got to destroy you niggas, man.
Precept.
Come.
This is Jeremiah 23 and verse 25. I've heard what the prophets said that prophesy lies in my name, saying, I have dreamed. How long shall this be in the heart of the prophets that prophesy lies? Yeah, they are prophets. They are prophets of the deceit of their own heart, which think to cause my people to forget my name by their dreams. They tell every man his neighbor, as their fathers have forgotten my name for Baal. And I brought that out because he mentioned the guy Nate, and he mentioned this other guy who used to be in the camp before we was there, that they actually teaching, man. You know, they teaching, and they not teaching in the name of the Lord. So they causing the Lord's people to forget his name. And it mentioned, it said, it caused them to forget his name. So that's how you know it's important to remember the name. And when you look up the word name, it says Sham, and it goes into like a monument, you know, a reputation. You know, so you're forgetting the what the Lord actually does, man. Excuse me. You know, you forgot what he did to people that will forget his name, man. You know, and worship other gods, called on the names of other gods, man. That's one of the first commandments, man. You know, but that's what they doing. And see the truth. As a whole, you know, beginning with the name, it's hard. It's going to be hard to find the way. The wrong way is more broad. You know.
Yeah.
See, you got the true name out in the earth right now. You know, the Lord revealed it back to his men, but then you got all these other false names, man.
Yeah.
And the Lord has it that way to make it harder to find, man. Just like the truth. You got a lot of different doctrines, but you got one truth, man. You know?
That's why it's amazing when you have somebody in the Philippines pop up out of nowhere talking about Yahweh Shema Shah, you know? And you don't ask how, you just like, the faith has gone through the roof. That's all. That's amazing. Prophecy confirmed, basically, you know? What's that, some more precepts?
I just got one more.
Con.
Cause, you know,
And then what in Acts 4 and 12.
because you were saying how when World War III pop off, that's when everybody gonna know. Everybody gonna know the name. This is Isaiah 59 and 19. It says, "So shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against him. And the Redeemer shall come to Zion, and unto them that turn from their transgressions in Jacob, saith the Lord." You know, and the point is, you know, so shall they fear the name of the Lord, because we already have the fear. You know, so when they want to come and close down and run down on us, that's when they all will fear the name. You know?
But on the same note, like we out here prophesied in the name of the Lord, you know. So when
Because we got the fear,
Bro,
Salakia, bro.
nah, bro, you
Because
got
we
it.
got the fear,
What is that?
and that's when the fear gonna be instilled in all these people when they want to shut us up.
And that's what Ezekiel 33 and 33 is. It surely, hey, matter of fact, I just get it.
Yeah.
It's Ezekiel 33. It's like I said, I mean, we prophesied in the name of the Lord, and then when all these things start manifesting themselves, which they are happening right now, then they gonna know, like with the scripture that the brother just read. This is Ezekiel 33 and 33. It says, "And when this cometh to pass, Lord will come, then shall ye know that a prophet have been among them."
Yeah.
So then it's gonna be verified. Then it's gonna be like, oh man, they done had it the whole time, man. The name that they've been calling on, the name that they've been proclaiming, you know, the word that they've been publishing is true.
Yeah.
You know,
The funny thing about it is that it's for a lot of them, it's gonna be way too late.
it's
man.
too late.
You know, because you didn't believe out of sincerity of your heart. You believe because the Lord actually showing Himself now.
That's right.
You know, and
right.
that's when He gonna know it's not sincere. He said, the scripture I read earlier in Psalms, He gonna deliver us because we set our love upon Him.
Yeah.
Okay, and you see you not doing it like that, and you gonna be like, dang. You know, thy people shall be willing to dare thy power, but you was foolish not to listen. You know.
My bad.
Now I just got one that's going back. You said this is Second Esdras 9 and 11. It says, "And they that have loathed my law while they had yet liberty, and when as yet place of repentance was open unto them, understood not, but despised it. The same must know it after death by pain."
Right, you had liberty. You had time to just take your time and figure it out.
That's right.
What exactly we're talking about.
Right.
Get some type of understanding. You might have opportunity to receive salvation, but instead, you're just gonna have to get destroyed. You got to learn by death, by pain.
And that's that cloak of maliciousness, man. They, like you said, they had the liberty, but they took that time, they took that freedom, you know, what liberty is, to do what the fuck they wanted to do. And that's why they said, that's why Yahweh Shah is coming as a thief in the night, because he gonna catch Jake with their pants down.
Yeah,
man.
and the reason why we put in World War III, because World War when our people, they think of World War III, they think of troops. You know, they're fighting against troops themselves. No, you could be in a concentration camp somewhere with barely getting any service on the tiny little black and white TV. And they talking about, oh, all these Walmarts closing down, and they don't. It's a mystery why they all closing down. They're turning those into concentration camps, man. A lot of people, it's gonna feel like war times here in America before the missiles drop. A lot of buildings gonna be run down, streets gonna be cut off. Are you gonna see dead bodies everywhere, babies crying, missing their parents? All right, animals chewing on humans, dead carcasses and stuff like that. Screams, crying.
Yeah.
Sirens going off. Nobody's in the police car, but the sirens steady going off.
Yeah.
You know, hospitals empty.
And Walmart spelled backwards, martial law.
Oh yeah.
So you
Set up.
you know it's coming.
It's gonna be like that. It's gonna be like that movie Colony, man.
Oh yeah, I gotta watch that again.
I mean, not the movie, that show
The show,
Colony.
yeah.
You know, before they canceled it like a bitch.
That was
But
yeah.
what they did, the people that didn't want to do it, that was going against the new government, the way they was trying do it, they got sent to the whatever, I forgot what it was called, the factory.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Got put to death. And then the other ones, you know what I mean, they was in those labor camps, you know. And then the some people that was gone with their system, they got to live in a little, I forgot what they called it, but it was a safe zone, so to speak, man.
The gray zone.
The gray zone. And everywhere else it was just a war zone, man.
Yeah.
You know? And that's why the scriptures do say, like, they're going to be, when the Lord returns, they're going to be eating, giving in marriage. They're going to think it's all sweet, man. You know? Because they're going to be trying to establish their society.
Yeah, because it's gonna be bro. It's gonna be like a destruction, but they're gonna be in like a rebuild. People truly gonna believe it's gonna get back to normal.
They're gonna think that they're gonna have these sub colonies and stuff.
Yeah, what it say? When he think that he's about to fulfill his belly, something like that, Job?
Corners
You
of
know?
this sophistication.
Yeah. So they gonna be thinking they accomplishing something, man. You know?
Let's get these precepts.
Yeah,
Read. I want to end here. Start with this though. Zechariah.
In 14 and 9.
Yeah.
This is Zechariah 14 verse 9. It says, and Yahweh shall be king over all the earth.
Mm-hmm.
In that day shall there be one Yahweh, or one Lord, and his name one.
Right. Now read that.
Acts chapter 4, verse 10. Be it known unto you all, and to all the people of Israel, that by the name of Yahweh Shah HaMashiach of Nazareth, whom you crucified, whom Yahweh raised from the dead, even by him doeth this man stand here before you whole.
Right, and that's how we're able to stand. That man represents us. That's when people ask, how are you out here? Why are you out here? It's because of the name of Yahweh Shah. Even by his name, that's how we're able to stand out here with our, because whole means what? Sound doctrine. That's what we got. We're made whole. Go ahead.
Verse 11. It says, this is the stone which was set at naught of you builders, which has become the head of the corner. Neither is there salvation in any other, for there is none other name under heaven given among men whereby we must be saved.
Right, and that's the only way you can get saved is by that name Yahweh Shah. You know, so through the Spirit we pray you are edified. All right, we want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Kabadash. The water Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai for the link up, so we have a good class. Edify the elected Israel, Shalom to the elected Israel, peace and blessings to you all. And of course, double honors to our elders and apostles, known as Great Millstone these times in the English and in the Hebrew. That would be Gawala Wakab, Arshan Kubar. Shalom.
Shalom.